Welcome back, everybody, to the Crypto Buzz UK channel. I'd like to wish you the best wherever you are. It's the early hours of Saturday, the 14th of May here in the UK. I'll be answering this question today: are we in a bull market or a bear market? Clearly, it's more nuanced than that. But not only that, I'll obviously cover sentiment. I'll also cover some of the macro picture. Before I get into it, please like and subscribe if you do find the content interesting or valuable. And I'll get straight into it. So, as usual, kick off with sentiment. We are where we are. It's been like this, as you know, pretty much all week. However, as a result, we've seen some relief rallies, I suspect. Well, obviously, we're greyed out here. The market's obviously closed. But you can see we were up a couple of percent on the usual equities. In terms of crypto, we've made a lower low in terms of our reading on extreme fear. We've been in extreme fear, as you can see, for over a month, which is pretty major. We don't usually spend this much time at the bottom of the range, and as I said, we've made a lower score today despite the bounce, which I think you're all familiar with. In terms of the relief rallies that I've just alluded to, you can see here that obviously Bitcoin's marginally up. We'll get into that. Ethereum's up a couple of percent. BNB 7, XRP approaching 10, Cardano best part of 9, Solana 9, and I think ADA was up, Polkadot, is up 16%, which is huge. So we've not seen them sort of gains for a while. In terms of the current charts, I always kick off my review, if you like, on the weekly chart. It just provides perspective. I'll zoom into the sort of last day or two just so I can share what I'm seeing now that we've had a couple of candle closes, including yesterday's candle, which closed about 2 hours ago. So what you can see here is that obviously we got sold off pretty significantly down to the $25,500 level, and then we got bought back up. The bulls defended the zone clearly, absorbed the selling pressure quite well over the space of a few hours. Closed the candle but with a very skinny body, so got extremely long wicks here. I'll zoom it in case the video doesn't pick it up. Hope that's clearer. And obviously yesterday, i.e. 2 hours ago, when the candle closed, got a similar scenario. We've essentially overshot now upside to the upside and got sold back down. There's 2 points here. One, it's like an elastic band. You overshoot one way, it has to rebound in the opposite direction and eventually return to the mean. That's the first point. The second point is clearly the bulls have defended their positions, in turn liquidating a lot of longs at this point at the bottom, and obviously as the bulls drove price back up, in turn liquidating a lot of shorts that were stacked probably in these zones here with stops up here. So they're the 2 key points to take away. It's pretty dangerous time to be actively trading intra hour or short term. I'd certainly wait for the dust to settle if you are a sort of medium term trader or investor, or a longer term trader or investor. All right, so that's today or the last couple of days. I just thought I'd cover that so at least you can see what I'm seeing. I think the only takeaway I would say is, well, is that bullish or bearish just based on 2 or 3 candles? I almost lean towards the bulls. That they've simply demonstrated they are prepared to defend the $25,000 region all the way to the best part of 29,000. There was a lot of buy pressure there. It was supported by the volume. The volume signature was very high. It appears, at least on Coinbase, that the volume that occurred for this week so far, at least, so obviously spanning a couple of days, the best part of 5 or 6 days, the weekly volume on Coinbase was actually higher than the sort of equivalent capitulation week of December 18. Obviously, it's not just 1 week you want to measure, it's the period over which the capitulation occurs. Taking 1 week in isolation is a good start, but clearly it's not the full picture, and we've certainly not completed the full picture. So it's one to keep an eye on. We're going to discuss volume tomorrow and some data points which I've pulled from the past. It's quite interesting. It's something obviously we should add to our collection of signs and indications and sort of analysis. In my view, volume plays a key part, as we all know. I'll move on now to the main question of the video. Am I a bull or am I a bear at this moment in time? Am I bullish or am I bearish? I was thinking, well, rather than simply asking or provide an answer to that question asked, I thought the best way to do it potentially was actually show you some charting basics with a few lines. The lines tell quite a story in my view, and that way it helps you make your own decision rather than me just telling you what I think. I mean, I'll tell you what I think anyway at the end, but clearly, from your perspective, you've got to be responsible for your own views. You've got to be responsible for where you put your own money and when you invest or not. It's entirely it should be in your control fully. And obviously, what I provide is just information, education. Take what you want away from it. If it's useful, great. If it's not, it's not. I do hope you find another channel or outlet where you find the information that you're really looking for. But I thought we'll go back to basics. Let's use a blank chart now. Let's zoom out to the monthly chart. I hope by the end of this you'll probably have a good idea about where you are. But this is my approach, okay? So I've got a blank chart, no drama, no indicators. We'll ignore this stuff at the bottom for now. But assuming it's a properly clear and blank chart, this is my basic approach, okay? So I think this I can see from here, just I suppose from experience, I can see five levels just looking at this chart, horizontal levels. So let's just I'll show you what I'm seeing. Okay, so horizontal ray, I find what we're looking for is confluence on the candle close. Is the wicks do help, but primary measure is from the candle closes. So for instance, the first one I'd put here, work from the bottom upwards. That's the 3,400 level. That's where the candle closed here in January and February. The next one, okay, I would do the 13,800 candle close in December and January, and obviously the wick in June 19. And there's obviously 2 months here where this level played a key role, which was October 20 and November 20. Okay, so that's two. The next one, in my view, is where this wick peaked, which is around the $20,000 mark. I'm going to move it down because, as I said before, the key driver here is where the candle closed. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, to be fair, but just for consistency, I'm going to do that. And here I can see, let's lower that a touch. I think that's correct. Okay, happy with that. And the next one is obviously the level we've been talking about for weeks and weeks, which is pretty much where we are now. Okay, so I'm going to go right between the January 21 candle. I think it's January. Oh, it's December 20 and January 21. I think that's the key level. Got candle close here. We've basically got 3 wicks, at this level, and it's actually where price is around about now. Okay, and four. So I'll do one more. I mean, these were the 5 levels which kind of stood out for me. You can see there's quite a lot of activity here at the top, and I'd just place it right in between the 4 candle bodies. Well, the 2 wicks and 2 candle bodies. I think that'd be fine. It's at the 60,000 mark. I actually think it's 59 if I'm absolutely honest where the candle's closed, because you've got a wick. I'll zoom it in so you can see what I mean. But you've got a wick here right to that horizontal line, as well as a wick here, and we've got 2 candle body closes and a wick just goes above it. But listen, for ease of reference, that's a start. Now the next question I would do is basically say, well, okay, I get it, you can put levels down here and levels down here, but actually, we're being realistic. We're going to probably stay on the north side of this chart. So there's no point of going down here and carving up. You can do, but I don't know how far it's going to take you. Just going to keep it really simple because we want as clear a picture as we can. So that's how we'll start. Nothing fancy about this. I picked out 5 key levels. I explained why these are key levels to me. Now what I do next is ask the question, which one is the most important, or which ones are the most important? In my mind, this is obviously important because I doubt we'll see these levels again. I could be wrong. You never know, clearly. But so that's the first level. The second, once again, I always start from the bottom, work upwards. I think this is an absolutely key level. It's one of the most key levels in Bitcoin's history, in my mind. Simply because June 19, we found our top has a wick. And then obviously we played with this zone for 2 months, which is December and January, 18 candles there. And obviously we had 2 months here. So this played a key role. The next one, in my mind, in terms of sort of importance of key levels, is this one. All I'm doing is making them bold as to distinguish the other, these from the others. So as you can see here, we've got 3 key levels, and I'll leave it pretty much at that. That, in my mind, that's pretty much me done. So what's the story here? What can we glean from this? In my mind, if we stay above this level of 29 and we hold this level and move up, I think there's a good chance that we test the top trend line, probably in the next 6 months. Now, if we don't hold this level and we actually close the candle below, we're demonstrating that we are continuing in a downtrend, and we've been in a downtrend for a while, i.e. since November last year, best part 6 months. In which case, I actually think we go down to the 14,000 level, which sounds extreme, and I know everybody's calling for $20,000. But I actually think that, I do think there's going to be a strong bounce at 20k, clearly. I mean, it's the level everyone's talking about. I imagine there's tons of buy orders set at $20,000. But when you look back in history, and there's no prior history clearly, when you look back in history, you can see that whilst the 20,000 hasn't really been tested, we've got one piece of activity or reach of the 20,000 level in December. This is December 17. Then we've got one in November 20 and one in December 20. There wasn't any consolidation. If there was consolidation of at least one candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, it adds credence to that level as being cemented in Bitcoin's price action in the past, okay, which then provides support, hopefully, if it ever gets retested. Now, the second reason why I think this level is key is because, as I mentioned, the how much this level was shown importance in Bitcoin's history. This 13,800, I think that's key, and the third reason, just for completeness, is that I think it's probably the most important reason, if I'm honest, is that Bitcoin's never retested this level. Okay, so if you like, I'll just guide you through what my thoughts are here. I'll just use the path for either reference. So obviously we got rejected at the 14, call it 14,000, but we got rejected at the 14,000 level. Okay, we came to test the bottom of it. Then we tried to get through it, rejected. We almost got to the bottom of the channel, and then we basically went on a tear. That's all that's happened, if you like, over the last 4 years. Now, alternatively, had this happened, okay, I'll do this in a different colour in a second, but say if we did as we did, and then got to the 20,000 level when we did, which was November 2020, if we back tested the 14,000 level as support and then moved up, I do think that would probably have led to a less likelihood of it being tested again. We've never back tested the 14,000 level. We've just ripped straight through it. We got resistance. Clearly, that's where the candle closes. Then we got resistance, and then effectively we've just gone through it. We've not back tested it. So that, in my mind, is something to remember. Take out all the noise, and we're left with this. Are we bullish or bearish? Well, from a monthly point of view, if we close the month 31st of May at this level, well, it's the lowest monthly candle close in terms of the body of the candle. For a very long time. Blimey, for all of this year. I mean, gosh, we're going back as far as we're talking a year ago. Within the last 12 months, that's the lowest monthly candle close. If by the end of May we're around this 29,000 level. The other point is that actually, if we do close the month at this level, exactly where we are, then we are still above this trend line, and not the trend line. We're still above this level, which has provided support a good number of times, a good 4 or 5 times. So that should weigh in on the bullish side, i.e. if it holds that level and consolidates on this level, then potentially we could continue up and change the trend. In terms of what's actually going on, the trend is down. There's no question. So you go with the trend. You never really fight the trend, or you shouldn't really fight the trend. The overall trend is down, unless proven otherwise. In order to prove me otherwise, or invalidate the downtrend, we really need to close a candle body above the $35,000 mark. And the reason why I say $35,000 because the lowest candle closes that we had were in June last year, basically a year ago, June, July last year. We obviously need to get back above that level. That's a key level. In terms of the weekly chart, the other point I would mention is that the lowest candle close on the weekly is 31,700. If we close below that, if we close on the 31st of May below 31,700 or 31,800, then that will be the lowest monthly close we've had in over a year. Okay, which is pretty major. It's you really got to pay attention to where candles close. It proves or disproves a downtrend. It validates or invalidates downtrends. And obviously, if we don't pay attention, then we can get caught off guard. I do think if we get above, as I said, we get above 35,000 in May, I think there's more upside that is likely. As I said, if the monthly candle closes below $29,000, go back to the monthly. If the monthly candle closes below $29,000, then we've certainly got more downside to come. And I don't think the 20,000 level is strong enough, potentially. Based on this, these two levels, in my mind, are weaker than 1, 2, and the top one as well. I think that's important to remember. The only other thing I would note, just for completeness, is that on the 30th of June, we will have a quarterly close, which is even more powerful than the monthly, and we'll also have a 6-monthly close, which is even more powerful than the quarterly candle. So there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to look forward to towards the end of May and obviously the end of June. So the monthly close is key for the end of May, and then the quarterly candle on the 30th of June, and the 6-month candle also on the 30th of June. What is my opinion then? Well, it's led by time horizons. So in the short term, I'm bullish. I think we've swept the lows for now. I think we've accumulated an intense degree of fear and pessimism in the markets for more than a month. Obviously, I'm big on sentiment. I'm very much a sentiment investor, sentiment trader. The sentiment has been as bad as it's been for a long time, for a decent amount of time. So I do think we're overstretched on the downside, and there has been a deep sell-off, and there's scope then to get above the $35,000. When I say I'm short-term bullish, I mean 1 to 3 weeks. Mid-term, I'm actually bearish. You probably know from my previous videos. It doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom, but I do think over the next 2 to 6 months, I do think we're still, I do think we still will be in what is a monthly downtrend. You can see here, we're clearly in a downtrend, and I do think that continues over the next 2 to 6 months. Long term, as you know, I'm bullish. When I say long term, I mean 6 months and beyond. I'm very much bullish on the space, not because, I want to wear Bitcoin t-shirts and, use Bitcoin mugs or whatever and Bitcoin everything. It's not the case. No, it's well beyond that. It's huge. I do think we're early in this space, and there's an awful lot of development that is going on in the space, and there's a lot of adoption that's happening behind the scenes, and obviously the general public only find out when prices are moving on the upside, or people care to pay attention when prices are moving to the upside. But actually a lot of work, a lot of development hasn't necessarily left the market just because Bitcoin's in a downtrend. The network, as you know, carries on, and is obviously stronger the more time that passes. All right, so in terms of giving you an idea of why I do think the long-term play remains still bullish. So if I zoom out, going back to inception, this is on the index chart. You can see here these green levels. This is when Bitcoin was at, peaked at, well, excluding the wicks for ease of reference, but peaked at 17,000. Sorry, peaked at $17. Peaked at $132. Peaked at $1,200. $19,000. And obviously the $60,000 region that we've seen last year. The trajectory is up. I do think it continues up, but as you can see, there's clearly less of an upside on each wave. I do think we recover and work our way back up going into 2024, 24 to test the $60,000 levels again, only then to move up and enter the six-figure range. So yeah, in summary, am I bullish or am I bearish? I'm actually both. It's led by time horizon, as it should be. Short term, 1 to 3 weeks, I'm bullish. Mid-term, 2 to 6 months, I'm bearish. And long-term, 6 months and beyond, I'm extremely bullish on the space. So yeah, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be accumulating. I do think we've got more downside to come based on my mid-term bearish position. But either way, I'll keep you all updated on what I'm seeing and how I'm navigating crypto. If you do like the content here, or you do find it valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you're great and you have a good day, evening, night, wherever you are.